Hi, I'm Whitley. I never thought I'd be sitting across from Dr. Sharma as she explained that the headaches I'd been having for months weren't just stress. The fluorescent lights of her office buzzed overhead as she pointed to the brain scan displayed on her computer. This mass here, Dr. Sharma said, tapping her pen against the screen, is what's causing your symptoms. The good news is we caught it early. It's treatable, but we need to act quickly. I gripped the armrests of my chair. How quickly? Within the next month. The procedure isn't experimental, but it is specialized. Your insurance will cover part of it, but there will be significant out-of-pocket expenses. That evening, I sat at my parents' dining table, the estimate for my treatment clutched in my hand. Mom passed the mashed potatoes to Dad, while my brother Kevin scrolled through his phone. So, I began, my voice shaking slightly. I got the results back today. Mom set down her fork. What did the doctor say, sweetie? It's a tumor. Non-malignant, but it needs to be removed soon. I slid the paper across the table. This is what it's going to cost after insurance. Dad picked up the estimate, his eyes widening. $30,000? That's impossible right now. What do you mean impossible? This is my health we're talking about. Kevin finally looked up from his phone. Everything okay? Not really, I said. I need surgery, but apparently it's too expensive. Mom reached across the table for my hand. It's not that we don't want to help Whitley. It's just complicated right now. Complicated how? You guys have savings, right? The college fund? My parents exchanged a look that made my stomach drop. We've already allocated those funds, Dad said carefully. Allocated? For what? Kevin cleared his throat. I got accepted to Princeton Wit. Full ride for tuition, but room and board still costs a lot. So you're using my college fund too? All of it? Dad's face hardened. We made a decision as a family. Kevin's opportunity is once in a lifetime. And my brain tumor isn't? I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. This is my life. Don't be dramatic, Mom said. Dr. Sharma said it's non-malignant, right? Can it wait? No, it can't wait. Did you not hear me? It needs to be treated within a month. Kevin stood up. Maybe I should defer for a year. If Whitley needs... You will do no such thing, Dad interrupted. We've already paid the deposit. Your sister will be fine. We'll figure something out. Figure something out? I laughed bitterly. Like what? Maybe a payment plan, Mom suggested weakly. Or a loan? In a month? With our credit? That's not going to happen, and you know it. I stared at them in disbelief. I can't believe you're choosing Kevin's dorm room over my brain. That's enough, Whitley, Dad warned. This conversation is over. That night, I called my best friend Zoe. They what? She practically shouted through the phone. They're using the money for Kevin's Princeton expenses instead, I repeated, my voice hollow. That's messed up on so many levels. What are you going to do? I don't know. I've got about $20,000 in my own savings, but that's not enough. Wait, isn't your godmother a lawyer? The one who always brings you those fancy chocolates at Christmas? Aunt Diane? Yeah, she's not actually related to us, but she's been close to my mom since college. Maybe she can help? Not just with money, but legally? Because this sounds all kinds of wrong to me. I stared at the ceiling, considering. You might be onto something, Zoe. I'll call her tomorrow. Diane's office smelled like leather and coffee. Her assistant had squeezed me in between appointments, and now I sat across from her, fidgeting with my water bottle as I explained the situation. Let me get this straight, Diane said, removing her glasses. Your parents are refusing to use their savings for your necessary medical procedure because they've allocated it to Kevin's room and board at Princeton? Yes, I nodded. Even though he got a full academic scholarship for tuition. And this fund? Was it specifically designated as your college fund? Well, there were two funds, mine and Kevin's, but they're using both for him now. Diane typed something on her keyboard. Do you have documentation that shows this money was specifically for you? Birthday cards mentioning college savings? Statements addressed to you? I think so. Dad used to show me the statements every year on my birthday saying how it was growing for my future. Good. That could establish intent. She leaned forward. Whitley, I need to ask, are you still a minor? No, I turned 19 2 months ago. That complicates things slightly, but not insurmountably. She drummed her fingers on the desk. Have you spoken with your brother about this? He offered to defer, but Dad shut that down immediately. Diane nodded thoughtfully. We have several options here. First, let's focus on getting you treatment. I know some people at the hospital who might be able to help arrange financing or reduced costs. Really? Absolutely. Medical centers often have programs for cases like yours. She made another note. Second, we need to determine if we can legally establish that some of those funds were held in trust for you, even informally. What would that mean? It could mean your parents have a fiduciary obligation to use that money for your benefit. Education is one thing, but necessary medical care takes precedence. They won't listen to me, Diane. They've made up their minds. Then they can listen to a formal letter from my office? She smiled grimly. And if that doesn't work, we'll escalate. My phone buzzed with a text from Kevin. Need to talk to you? Coffee at Harper's in 30? I have to go, I told Diane. My brother wants to meet. Go ahead. Gather any information you can, especially about the nature of these funds. And Whitley, you're doing the right thing. Standing up for yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. At Harper's, Kevin was already waiting, 2 coffees on the table. Thanks for coming, he said as I slid into the booth. What's up? I talked to Mom and Dad again about your treatment. They're not budging. He ran a hand through his hair. I don't understand why they're being so stubborn about this. Because they've always favored you, Kev. You know that? That's not fair, isn't it? Remember when you crashed Dad's car and they bought you a new one? But when I needed braces, suddenly we had to budget carefully? Kevin winced. I didn't ask for any of that. I know you didn't, but you never refused it either. I sighed. Look, this isn't about you. It's about them making a choice that could seriously impact my health. What did your doctor say exactly? About the time frame? That ideally the tumor should be removed within a month. The longer we wait, the riskier it gets. It could affect my vision, my coordination. Potentially worse. Kevin's face paled. I had no idea it was that serious. Dad made it sound like it was just a precaution. Well, it's not. And I've been looking into it. That money in my college fund? Legally, it might be considered mine already. What are you saying? You're going to sue Mom and Dad? I'm saying I need that surgery, Kevin. And if they won't help me, I'll have to help myself. By taking them to court? Do you know what that would do to this family? Do you know what not having this surgery could do to me? I shot back. An older woman at the next table glanced over and I lowered my voice. I'm meeting with Diane Walker. You know, Mom's friend from law school? She's helping me figure out my options. Kevin leaned back, his expression unreadable. I told Dad I'm deferring enrollment. He can't stop me. And what did he say? He threatened to cut me off completely if I betrayed the family like that. Kevin made air quotes with his fingers. His words, not mine. So, what are you going to do? I don't know yet. But Whitley, I want you to know, I'm on your side here. I studied his face, looking for any sign of insincerity. Prove it. 3 days later, I sat in my parents' living room with Diane beside me. Kevin had positioned himself on the ottoman, an uncomfortable neutral territory. Mom and Dad sat rigidly on the sofa, expressions guarded. I appreciate you agreeing to this meeting, Diane began. Dad cut her off. I don't know what you think you're doing, Diane. This is a family matter. A family matter that involves the potential misappropriation of funds held in trust for Whitley's benefit, Diane replied evenly. Mom's eyes widened. What are you talking about? Those are our savings. Are they? Diane opened a folder. I have here birthday cards from both of you, specifically stating that money was being added to Whitley's college fund. I also have statements for an account in Whitley's name, with you as custodians. Those were gifts, Dad insisted. We're still the legal owners of those accounts. Not necessarily. Under the Uniform Transfers to Minors Act, those funds may legally belong to Whitley, even if you maintained control as custodians until she turned 18. Kevin leaned forward. Is that true, Dad? You always told us those were our accounts. We meant for college, Mom interjected. Not for saving my life? I asked quietly. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I challenged. Because it sounds like you're saying Princeton is more important than my health. Dad stood up. This is ridiculous. We're not having this conversation. Yes, we are, Kevin said, surprising everyone. I'm not going to Princeton if it means Whitley doesn't get treatment. You don't get to make that decision, Dad snapped. Actually, I do. I'm an adult, and it's my education we're talking about. That you're throwing away? No, Kevin countered. What you're throwing away is your relationship with your daughter. And for what? So you can brag to your friends that your son goes to an Ivy League school? Mom started crying. That's not fair, Kevin. None of this is fair, I said. I didn't ask to get sick. We're just trying to do what's best for both of you, Mom insisted. By choosing one of us over the other? I shook my head. That's not how parenting works. Diane cleared her throat. I've drafted a formal demand letter requesting the release of funds from Whitley's account for her medical treatment. I hope we can resolve this amicably, but if necessary, we are prepared to file for an emergency injunction. Dad's face reddened. You're threatening to sue us? Your own parents? I'm asking you to help save my life, I corrected him. The fact that it's come to legal threats is on you, not me. How dare you? Dad shouted, taking a step toward me. After everything we've done for you? Richard! Mom grabbed his arm. Calm down! Don't tell me to calm down! Our ungrateful daughter is sitting here with a lawyer threatening us. Kevin stood up. Dad, you need to back off. Or what? Dad challenged, looming over me. Or I'll make sure every family friend and colleague knows exactly what kind of father you really are. Kevin's voice was low but firm. Is that the reputation you want? The man who refused to pay for his daughter's brain surgery? Dad's face contorted with rage. Get out, all of you, get out of my house right now. Fine, I said, standing up. But this isn't over. You have 48 hours to transfer the funds or we're filing the emergency petition. As we walked to the door, Dad called after us. You'll regret this, Whitley. You're destroying this family over money. I turned back one last time. No, Dad. You destroyed this family when you decided my brain tumor wasn't worth your attention. That's on you, not me. 2 weeks later, I sat in a hospital bed, waiting to be wheeled into surgery. The operation had been scheduled after the court granted our emergency petition, ordering the release of my college fund for medical purposes. Kevin sat beside me, thumbing through a magazine without really reading it. Nervous? He asked. Terrified, I admitted, but ready. Dr. Sharma says your prognosis is excellent. 95% success rate. A knock on the door interrupted us. It was Mom, standing awkwardly in the doorway, her eyes red-rimmed. Can I come in? She asked softly. I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. She approached cautiously. I know how it looks, Whitley. We made a terrible mistake. She took a deep breath. I just couldn't bear the thought of you going into surgery without telling you I love you. Even though you were willing to risk my health for Kevin's dorm room? You're right, Mom interrupted. We failed you, Whitley. Completely and inexcusably failed you. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that I understand what we did. The nurse came in. Time to prep for surgery, Whitley. Mom stepped back. I'll be here when you wake up, if that's okay with you. I nodded, despite myself. 3 months later, I sat across from Diane in her office, fully recovered from my surgery. The final medical bills have been processed, she said. Your parents' insurance covered more than expected, so you'll have about $12,000 left from your fund. That's something, at least. I got accepted to state on a partial scholarship. Between that, the remaining funds, and my job, I should be able to manage. And your parents? Have you spoken to them recently? Mom calls every week. Sometimes I answer. I picked at a loose thread on my sleeve. Dad sent me an email, said he wants to meet for coffee, talk things out. Are you going to go? I haven't decided. Part of me wants to never see him again. Another part, I don't know. Whatever you decide, it should be on your terms, in your time. Kevin deferred Princeton. He's taking a gap year as a research assistant. Says Princeton will still be there next fall. Later that day, I sat in a coffee shop waiting. The bell above the door chimed, and my father walked in, looking older and smaller than I remembered. Thank you for agreeing to meet, he said, remaining standing until I gestured to the chair across from me. I'm not making any promises, Dad. I know. He folded his hands on the table. I just wanted a chance to talk, to try to explain, not excuse what happened. I took a sip of my coffee, giving myself time to steady my voice. I'm listening. Whether this was the first step toward rebuilding our relationship or simply closure before I moved on, I wasn't sure. But for the first time since this all began, the decision was entirely mine to make.